All right, good morning and welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, of course, and on the app. We are also live on Facebook, and we share it all over the World Wide Web, other platforms, other social media. Check us out on 1010XL's YouTube channel as well. All the podcasts done here on the 1010XL platform. Go to YouTube. So check out 1010XL YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Brought to you by Team Tommy Mack. Just a great group of businesses. I'll go through them in a little bit, but do want to welcome Code Ninjas to Team Tommy Mack. Code Ninjas, where coding is fun. Let me tell you something. They got programs. They've been on my Horse's Mouth show a few times. Ryan, the founder, it's a franchise, but they got four places now here in town. And I'll tell you what, you get done with their program. Your kid from start at 5, all the way through 17, 18. You get these certifications. You're ready to go right into it, man. Just great. Great to have him on board. We're actually going to play. There's a Ninja Fest February 10th over in Fleming Island, his Fleming Island location. The Dad Bods will be playing there at the event. I think it's from 12 to 2 we're playing. And Dad Bod's playing tonight at Culhane's out in Atlantic Beach, baby. Can't wait. Listen, man, I just love doing it. We have a good time. My band rocks. They're true professionals. They can get it on, man. Lead guitars, drummer, bass, rhythm. They do it all, man. It's fantastic. So if you can come out to us, check us out tonight. It'll be rocking 8 to 12, right around 8 to midnight at Culhane's in Atlantic Beach. All right. Here locally, we'll get into the AFC NFC Championship because, I think I said it on Tuesday. It's just, last night on Tommy Mack's Happy Hour, me and Bees, and Jeff Logman was great. Log, such a good dude. We talked about hunting and fishing for a good bit. He really loved it, man. It was just good to talk to him and just kind of shoot the shit. And, that's what's great about that show. We do talk ball. We talk memories and we talk today's game. And, of course, he's tied in with the Jags, so we had some conversation about that. You can check that out on Tommy Mack's YouTube channel. But, look, it stings every year. You're watching the games. You're remembering how close you were. Nothing like going to the Super Bowl. I can only imagine. Nothing like winning a Super Bowl, like we said. So this weekend's going to be fun. KC at Baltimore. Baltimore getting healthy. Same with Kansas City. Kansas City with Debo. Mark Andrews with Baltimore. I'll give you my picks later in the show. I tell you, I want Detroit to win because it's amazing what Dan Campbell has done up there and that GM. And I'm sorry I don't have his name handy, but what they've done up there, it's the exact way, the recipe to do it. It's not just the talent. It's not the talent that fits the kind of scheme you want to run. It's all of that. But it's also, do they match the culture that you want to have? He even said it like, he's like, when we came together, what kind of player do we want to have? He didn't say what kind of offense we want to run, what kind of defense we're going to run. So what kind of player do we want to play for the Detroit Lions? And they went out and got those players. And you could go through the league and the teams that stick to that recipe, I'm telling you, the ones that succeed more than not. Now, Detroit, that knew, right, with Dan Campbell. However they did it before, I don't know. But you got to match the personalities, like the want to, with what you want in the locker room and with your players. I'll use confidence. I even said it last night with the guys. We were all the same kind of guy. We all worked our ass off. We didn't care getting yelled at. We loved being physical. We loved being tough. We didn't mind. I mean, we didn't like conditioning. Nobody really does. But it's that kind of thing. His Coffin style never bothered. It didn't hurt us. It was nothing. It was like that's just his way. Probably grew up a lot of us that way, right? That tough love, and as long as it was honest and fair and consistent, which Tom was, it worked. When you stray away from that, that's when you have issues. So I hope Detroit can get it. I'm kind of leaning towards them still, even with Debo coming back. I'm aiming for his shoulder. Broken chicken wing. Guess what I'm going for? I'm going to knock the heck out of that thing. he better have it taped up nice and tight and close to his body. But if he plays, good for him. We'll talk about that. But big news around here. GM Trent Baalke's press conference. Yes, I have to talk about it. Do I really want to? No, I mean, not really. You know, like I said on Twitter this morning, I don't really care what he says. I don't care what the head coach says. I don't care what the players say. I don't care about any of that. And I know people in the media have a job to do, and it's all good. It's all good, but I don't care. Just win. Shut up and win. Like, whatever. Like, and look, I don't know what everyone expected Trent Baalke to say. I don't. But he's a general manager that's going to protect himself, and he's going to protect his picks. We'll talk about that. Let's welcome in my producer and my good buddy, Grammage. How are you, Grammage? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes,
Lions
yes,
GM.
the GM for the Lions. Thank you. Great job. They came in together. And that's what he said after the game. He's like, what kind of player do we want to have? Very important.
Remember when they were getting clowned for taking Jahmyr Gibbs so early?
What a weapon. Kidding me?
He's unbelievable.
He is unbelievable.
You know who
you know
who clowned them for taking that pick is non-college football watchers.
Yeah.
Because if you saw that man play college football, you're like,
He's special, man.
That's
taken to the house on any given moment, man. That's humongous to have on your team. And you got multiple guys. Williams getting into his stride. Jameson, right, from Bama as well. He can burn, man.
Sam Laporta,
yeah, man. Laporta. They've drafted well, not only talent and scheme wise, but part of that tough culture. You got to have it.
If Laporta is where he is right now, production wise, in 2 years, he will be the best tight end in the league.
He's gonna be a good one, man. You know, knock on wood for health. Because Kelsey's stay healthy in this league.
Kelsey's kind of on the down turn of his career, most likely.
Kelsey's got some juice left, man.
He's got juice left.
He's got some juice left. Yeah. I tell you, if it wasn't for Mahomes, and look, the Ravens' defense is sick, no doubt, and Lamar is special. And if they're humming, it's going to be tough for Kansas City. But with Mahomes at the quarterback, I mean, I think I'm picking Baltimore, but with Mahomes, you're just like, dude, he can still figure it out. You know, Rice will get involved. You know, you got Kelsey have the game of his life. You watch. They will. That's what the great players do. And so are the other side. I'll tell you who's the key. And one of my favorite players on that Ravens defense is Kyle Hamilton. That kid is a sick free safety or strong safety, whatever he is. 6'4", came out of Notre Dame.
It's kind of a throwback safety.
And he can fly. Like, he could cover, he could run, and he loves hitting. That kid, that young man, I should say, that guy's a weapon, no doubt. But locally, Trent Baalke presser. I know the media's up in arms. Look, you want answers, right? You want answers. I'm just saying, like, I know GMs are going to protect their guy. Like, just take Fortner, for example. If Trent didn't pick him, if he inherited him, he wouldn't be backing him.
No chance.
He wouldn't. But it's his pick. It's got to work out. Not it's got to, like, his job. Well, job does depend on you would think, but he's going to defend those. He's going to defend Strange in the second round. He's going to defend Bigsby to a certain degree in the third round. I don't agree with everything he said. I mean, half of it went in one ear and out the other because, again, I don't really care. Just, you know, pick. Look, you say you need bigger guys and beefier and more muscle up front. Fine. Well, why didn't you do that last year? You redid everybody's contract, right? So you're going to protect Devon. You're going to protect Roy Robertson Harris. You brought in Foley. You know, you're going to protect those people. And by the way, some of his free agents have worked out great. Some have not. The draft picks have been the ones that you question. I don't mind him saying Anton's going to be left tackle. I think that's going to be real interesting. Doesn't mean we get rid of Cam. I mean, will Cam play right tackle? Maybe. We'll see. Do they let him go and save the cap space? I don't know. I like that attitude on my O-line. You know, the systemic or systematic, whatever the heck he said about the offense and the offense. I mean, I don't know. You're throwing somebody under the bus, I guess. You know, I just think, look, at the end of the day, just get the job done. The problem is with the organization, we don't know. I mean, is it just Trent going to Shad, you know, the owner? and saying, this is what we got to do, he must trust him. Is there an in-between? I think Tony, Shad's son, plays a more bigger role than we think he does. And I don't know what that means. I'm not saying good or bad. But Trent Baalke, at least yesterday, from the clips I saw, he ain't worried about much. He ain't worried about his security. He ain't worried about his job. Maybe that's just a front. I don't know. You can make an argument to fire him for sure, just based on different things. But you can make an argument. No, you can't make an argument to fire Doug. I wouldn't say that. But, look, I still think it is part, I've been very vocal about this. You got to beef up the front of the lines on the interior of the lines on both sides of the ball. Other than that, you got to change the freaking attitude, in my opinion. Everyone now saying, Ridley's not a number one anymore. I disagree with that. You got to hone his ass in. There's no doubt about it. But if you get that guy on the same page with your quarterback, he's a weapon, and he is a number one. Whether you bring in another guy or not, I don't care. He is still that kind of speed. You don't inherit that kind of speed, man. That's God-given ability. And look, how about and using them maybe a little bit different, not always just what we're here is really good plays, slants. The 10-yard, 12-yard, 15-yard out. That long crossover route was phenomenal. That one game, it happened once all year long. He took it right. I mean, so I'm not giving up on Ridley. I'm tagging his ass, though. I'm not tagging Josh. And by the way, the whole uproar, they haven't started. Look, we did this on Jaguars today, and I think I said it when we did it here on Catching Up. His value is going to be $25 million on the low end per year, up through $34 million. Bose is at $34 million. TJ Watt, when he signed his deal, was very high, but he's underpaid at $28 million. And then Myles Garrett, when he signed his, which was 2020 or 20, he's at $25 a year. So those two are going to jump up to the 34. So Josh is going to be between 24, and they'll probably reset 34, though Bose just got that deal before this past season. So maybe not reset it, but pretty close. Maybe they get 35 a year, 36 a year. I don't think it's going to go up to 40. If they do, God bless them. But so they're going to find a range there. The paperwork shouldn't be a big deal. You just got to agree on the numbers, right? Maybe there's some language and whatnot that's a little bit, different. Fine. But that's my point is it shouldn't take. Everyone's in an uproar. And I don't want them to tag Josh. I don't. I want Josh to get paid and tag Ridley. I don't want and it's not that I don't want. I want Ridley to prove it. Josh already has, my opinion. Josh is, he's earned this new contract, in my opinion. And whether you believe it with Ridley or not, I still want to see Ridley, but I'll see him on another one-year deal. And then, look, if all things go well, like I think they are, I mean, keep in mind, even with all the mess-ups, Graham, 8 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards after being out for a year and a half. I know I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but to me that says, okay, let's hone his ass in. Let's run routes that he's really good at. If you recall, they weren't doing the slant at all for the first part of the year. Then they started using it, and it was a pretty good play. Use the plays that he's really good at is what I'm getting at. So,
and he was available.
What?
And he was available.
Yeah.
He played every game.
Right. So right now it's a good trade. So that's a positive for Trent. He pulled it off while he was still with the Falcons. What, a second or third rounder, depending on how long he stays here? I don't know. I think that was a pretty smart, under the radar kind of move. I just think, look, again, they have another year to prove what they are. And again, back to protecting his guys. Look, he says Trevor is our long-term guy, and we're going to redo his deal when the time's right. If he messed up the first pick in the draft, that would be a black eye on his resume, Trent Baalke's. And I'm not saying he did, because he hasn't. I'm just saying, if Trevor doesn't turn out to be what a lot of people believe he's going to be, and I'm in a hope belief, like I want to see it, and I think he can get there. But Baalke's not going to be like, I'm not not redoing his. You know what I mean? It's his guy. He's going to protect. It's his quarterback, so he's going to protect him as long as he can. And look, if Trevor gets a new deal, good for him, man. That's fantastic. I'd want to see him earn it a little bit more. I'm more of the, you earn it first and then you get the big money. But I don't know. I just feel like that's why I don't even like listening to those things, because they're going to say what they have to say. Some of them are really good, and that's players, coaches, person. They know how to handle the media. Like, they know how to answer things, But at the end of the day, Baalke sat there and was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm not worried about my job. Say whatever you want. I loved when Ballou, and I know people already talked about it, but he's like, well, what pass rushers? Ballou named 4 right away. But here, let me just show some. So Clowney comes in, okay? And let's be honest. Before we knew he came in, nobody was beating down Clowney's door. He was in the mix, and you're like, oh, yeah, maybe Clowney. A lot of people are like, nah, he doesn't have it anymore. He don't have the juice. He's not going to be the guy, blah, 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 blah. The others were like, you got to take a look. Anyway, they brought him in. How do we know what they offered him? We don't know. Maybe they did offer him a deal. And he said, that's not good enough. And maybe Baltimore's like, you know what? We think you got more upside this year than maybe they do. And we're going to give you more money than they're going to. I mean, you can't, so what does Baalke do? Say, well, no, wait, we'll give you even more money. So then we're going to overpay you to be here, not knowing the production that Clowney brought. And mostly nobody, including me, thought Clowney would have the kind of year that he had. He's had a great year. Granted, they got a great defense around him. He's got a great defensive tackle on the inside. They're good on the back end. Great linebackers, you know what I mean? They got a great defense, plugging him in and asking him to do what he does, and he does it well. Yeah, that's great. But nobody saw that. You didn't see that. I didn't see that. It's easy to be 2020. So, and I'm not trying to defend him, but in Trent's defense, yeah, we had him in. We tried to sign him. We couldn't find the value. Look, if they tag Josh Allen, it's because they're not going to agree on the value. That's all that means. It does nothing to do with time and all this other stuff. It's, hey, man, are you going to play for us at this amount? No, I'm not. I want this amount. All right, we'll go back and let's see if we can get up to that amount or close. You know what? We can't get totally that amount, but we're pretty close. You want it? Stay here. Taxes, blah, blah, blah. Throw the pitch at him. I'd throw him real estate too, man. Give him a house, mansion somewhere. I don't care. On the river. Get him a big yacht to take him back and forth to practice, whatever it takes, plus the money, and then if they don't find the value, they're not going to let him walk. So what are they going to do? They're going to tag him.
Take Dasani water out of the building.
Yeah.
Remember, he doesn't drink Dasani?
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't?
No.
I didn't know that.
That's like his thing, is he doesn't drink Dasani.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
All right, Josh, we're a couple million late, but we're taking Dasani out.
Dasani's out, buddy. What do you think about that? So, look, again, it's easy to look back and go 2020. We're not in the room. You don't know the offer. Was he a guy that you just don't let out the building at that time? Clowney? Was he a guy that you just don't?
No.
There is some truth to when a coach comes in to interview, you're not leaving. You're not going to your next interview. We're not letting you walk out of here without a contract, or at least an offer. They like him so much that you're not leaving. You know what I mean?
I don't think Clowney was that guy.
No.
I agree with you that it's easy to say it after he's had a productive year.
Had a great year.
But yeah, I mean, even like myself at the time, I was like, Clowney, I'd probably rather have one of the other guys, Floyd or trading for.
People are asking about Frank Clark, and he didn't do anything this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a sack. Now Floyd, but you were paying for him. Look, and now the other side of that is, hey, Trent, you're the one that said we had enough by not doing anything last year. So are you wrong? Right? Because now you got to re-beef it up. I don't know. I'll tell you this, and I know Devon had the injury last year and the illness and all that. I understand that. But I do want to see him in a 4-3-3 technique. I want to see him have the same kind of impact that a Jeffrey Simmons type. I'm not going to say he is that, but he's got the size, the power, and the quickness to really make a guard have a tough day. And they're going to have to double him, which does what? Opens the guy next to him. So I want to see that. I do. I think Roy Robinson-Harris can be a 5 technique. I do. I don't know if Foley. I think Foley can be a 5. I don't know if Foley can be a 1. I don't know. I need a bigger one. I need more beef. Hamilton gets too high. He does. He just these tall guys. It's like, I heard Baselli talking about 40. He gets too high in his stance. You're going for a ride. If you don't have balance in your stance, if you don't have leverage to a certain degree, you're not going to win the battle, especially when you got to move people and they're trying to blast through you. Try wrestling anybody out there. Make sure it's on grass so you don't hit your head on the cement. But go wrestle somebody and just kind of stand up tall and see how it goes. You know what I mean? You gotta, But
I think
you gotta stay low. I'm not saying add, okay? Because you know how I feel. I want additions, but you're not getting rid of those guys. You just paid them.
Yeah,
you're not getting rid of them. So he's not. I think they will upgrade the beef on both sides of the interior of the. I said it. The outside's fine, and if Anton's my left tackle, I think that's pretty interesting, man. The kid's a tremendous athlete. Had a shoulder injury the whole year. You see that picture of him? Didn't even tell anybody, I don't think. Outside the building, maybe.
I don't believe personally that there's a world where Anton plays left and Cam is still here.
I agree with you, especially if you think you can get someone a lot cheaper than $16 million a year. Maybe it's an up-and-comer. Maybe it's a draft pick that you have high on the board.
If you're moving Anton left, you're going to do that to save some cap.
Yeah.
And either then have Walker Little play right or draft somebody.
Yeah, Log was high on Little. He's like, when he's healthy, he's really good. I said, well, are you going to play him at guard? He's like, he'd be my swing tackle. I said, okay, that's cool. I mean, he does. It's not like he's a bad player. I just like to see him more aggressive, And if I'm Fortner, get on the juice, man. You're not big. You're not strong enough upper body. You're not strong enough lower body, I guess. Get on some juice. Get off it in time. Whatever. I'm half kidding, but you got to do something. You got to do something, man, to get stronger in that weight room. How about that? He says that. Well, you're knocking the strength coach now, too? He doesn't know what he's doing? He knows what he's doing. I'm telling you, to me, it's a big attitude adjustment. It's not believing your hype. It's going to work, being a professional, and knowing everything. And quit blaming everybody else. Look in the freaking mirror and blame yourself first, and then go from there. There is some talent upgrades needed, no doubt. But to me, it's more of, that emotional, mental toughness, if you will, and really taking a lot of pride in preparation. You got to do it, especially today, man. You don't have as much time with your team. You got to do it on your own a lot. And it's so easy. Logs was telling us last night when he's on the plane ride home, he's already got the game downloaded on his from Mike Perkins, downloaded on his laptop or his Surface. He's watching on the way home. It's so easy today to watch film. You used to have to go in and watch film. Maybe take a when it got to VHS, you could take that home.
I was watching.
But prior to that, I was doing the 8mm, man. I was great at splicing that stuff together. It was, but I learned how to watch film. I learned how to watch tape, learn how to study.
I was watching the Pivot podcast, Fred Taylor's podcast, and they had Ed Reed on probably about a month ago.
That. Oh, what a player.
And he was just talking about the amount of film study he did as a player.
No doubt.
Like, he's like, dude, I lived watching film. He's like, I would practice all day, and then he said, I'd go home, I'd eat dinner, and then he said I'd pour myself a little something to drink, smoke a cigar, and just watch tape the rest of the night. That's all he would do.
Yeah.
But
that's the job. That's the sacrifice. I mean, it's not. It's a glamorous job, but it's still a job. You got to put in the time. You have to, because your talent will get washed out. Nobody's that talented that can just, maybe a few. Most of the players are not that talented where they just show up and don't prepare. So look, I like back to Kyle Nielsen. All I'm hearing, like I said it last night, I'm hearing from Coach Campo, this guy's going to make them accountable. He's going to make sure they know exactly what they're doing with a lot of energy. Give them a little bit more up front, maybe a little bit on the outside in the DB section. Maybe another pass rusher. You never can have too many. And we got enough, in my opinion. I don't want to see – I see where – look, I don't want to see Jenkins go. I think he's one of our dogs, man. I love that guy. But I can see Antonio Johnson making a push. So what do you do with Cisco? I mean, you're not – you know what I mean? Maybe there's a way to have all three when they have those three safeties out there. But Antonio Johnson's going to be an interesting player. Does Trent get credit for that one in the 5th round? Pretty good one.
If he stays good.
What?
If he stays good.
If he stays good. Yeah, he's got some time.
He's a rookie that showed some flash. That doesn't mean he's going to be a good player. And
I'm going to say he's going to be a good player just by watching him.
That's fair.
He looks like the player.
We've talked about this before. Like, yeah, like he gets credit, but man, like the Rams got Kyron Williams.
I know
in that area. They got Puka Nacua in that area. Like, Isaiah likely was a 4th rounder.
Strange is not like super duper duper, but I think that kid's got enough talent to use as a weapon on this team, and he's not afraid to block. He's got some tenacity, and I would use him as San Fran uses Juszczyk or whatever the heck his name is, number 44. I would. He's got that kind of ability, and he's probably a better blocker, more vicious blocker. Anyway, it's easier said than done, right? You want answers. You know what? I want championships. So they got another year in my book, and after that, if it goes like it did this year, and they don't finish better, and they're not in the playoffs, and they're not going for like something really good, like divisional round, maybe even beyond, then I don't know. I don't know if you get rid of them at that, but something's got to change again if that's the case. But just buckle up, man, because we're here, and he's staying, and he's going to build another roster, and Coach Peterson's going to do it the best he can. I'm telling you, it starts with attitude first, and I think things will be all right. All right, I'm going to go Baltimore at home. I really think KC might do it, though. I'm not going to be shocked if Mahomes gets it done. He is so special. We'll see if their defense can do anything against Lamar and company. Lamar's on fire, MVP candidate. He's incredible. I'm not going to be shocked if they pull it up, but I got Baltimore, and I am going to go Detroit. I think Detroit's got the mentality. They got the makeup. I think if they can get a little ground game going, they're going to be tough to handle. I think it's going to be a real tight game, but I'm pulling for my boy Brunell and the Detroit Lions to win the NFC. How about that if Detroit was in the Super Bowl? How awesome would that be? And every player on that team is thinking that today because guess what? That's what we were thinking about back in 1996. One more victory, and you're in the big show. Thanks so much to Team Tommy Mac. I appreciate you. I'm going to jump on the radio here at 10 o'clock with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and Pockets for Jaguars today on 1010XL. Hope you can join us over there, and I'll be back on Tuesday. Hey, if you got free time tonight, come out to Culhane's in Atlantic Beach and be a part of the Dad Bod Show. We're going to rock and roll from 8 o'clock till whenever the cops come and shut us down. So until next time, stay safe, be cool out there, and we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace.